I'm Amanda.
I'm Quiva.
I'm Heidi.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sarah.
And together
We're the SOS team. Our one good idea is to raise awareness about the twin evil of climate change, ocean acidification.
What is ocean acidification? Many people know that by burning fossil fuels such as coal and oil, a lot of carbon dioxide gas is released up into the atmosphere. This traps too much heat from the sun and causes global warming, which leads to climate change.
However, not as many know that a lot of this gas is absorbed by the oceans. It reacts with the seawater to form an acid called carbonic acid. This is the process of ocean acidification and it puts marine life at risk.
So what are the effects of ocean acidification on marine life? Animals that have shells, such as the sea butterfly, face having their shells damaged or dissolved. Corals will not be able to form their skeletons, and fish face having their nervous system damaged. The whole food chain will be thrown off balance, all because of carbonic acid.
This graph shows that for hundreds of thousands of years, CO2 levels have never reached 300 parts per million. However, in the short time since the Industrial Revolution, CO2 levels have reached right up to 400 parts per million, and this is due to the burning of fossil fuels.
Since the Industrial Revolution, the oceans have absorbed about 25% of the carbon dioxide produced by burning fossil fuels, and the waters of the ocean have become 30% more acidic.
Not alone that, but corals, which cover only 1% of the Earth's oceans but are home to more than 25% of all marine species, are finding it harder to form their skeletons and are in danger of disappearing altogether.
The problem is, we are heading for a mass extinction of animal and plant species caused by one species, humans. We have created this problem. We need to resolve it. The only way to stop acidification is to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide released.
How can we do this? We can walk or cycle short journeys, we can take public transport, use LED light bulbs instead of ordinary light bulbs, switch electronics off when they're not in use, and use more renewable sources of energy.
There are 3 parts to our campaign: research, education, spread the word. To research, we read articles online, we read reports, we conducted surveys, we did an interview with an expert in marine biology, and we met the Minister for Communications, Climate Change and Environment, Denis Naughton.
Part 2 of our campaign was to educate. We visited our local primary schools where we carried out a survey to find out how many people had heard of ocean acidification. We gave them a presentation on the topic. We provided them with the materials to carry out an experiment where an egg was placed in vinegar and over the course of a few weeks the egg shell was dissolved. This shows them what can happen to the shells and skeletons of the marine species due to ocean acidification.
So our survey results showed while 91% of people had heard of global warming, only 6% of people had heard of ocean acidification.
We played marine Jenga with them. This shows how ocean acidification and other factors greatly affect the marine food web. We also ran an art competition on the theme of ocean acidification.
Part 3 was to spread the word. To spread the word, we were interviewed by a reporter from the Roscommon Herald. We talked to the listeners of our local radio station, Shannonside, and on our school Facebook page, we have been posting simple steps which you can help us tackle ocean acidification.
So, what simple step will you take to
Help us please to save our seas from ocean acidification disease? Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I think already you know what to do with those microphones. You had that nailed already. Well done. Well done. And your 2 minutes will start after the first question.
Hi, girls. That's a really interesting presentation. It might be because I quite like swimming in the sea all year round in a big warm wetsuit. So it makes me a bit nervous. You said that only 6% of people know about ocean acidification. Is that from your own survey, or how did you come across that fact?
Yeah, that was from our surveys in our local primary schools. We did that.
Okay, great. Good to know. And I was wondering, where did you come up with this idea? The interest in the ocean and ocean acidification.
Well, not a lot of people, clearly not as much people know about ocean acidification as they do about global warming. So, we just want to raise awareness about it, and that's why we wanted to do it.
Our teacher, Miss Carr, also mentioned it in our science class, so we heard on that, and then she mentioned the One Good Idea project, so we decided to choose ocean acidification.
Yeah, good. That's a good start, isn't it? So you obviously learnt a lot. You did great in-depth research in your project, which we like to see. You mentioned about Jenga and a competition and all sorts of... what was that about?
We created a game called Marine Jenga. We have 4 sections in the Jenga block, and at the bottom there's phytoplankton and zooplankton. And then there's smaller fish and then larger fish at the top. And then when you pull out the planktons, any of the planktons, the whole food chain falls. And that's what happens with ocean acidification. So we wanted to raise awareness and we made the game up about it.
Well done, girls. You've done a fantastic job and a really interesting presentation, I said already as well. You're first-year students. Now that you've this project, let's say, finished and you're coming towards the end of first year, are you going to leave it at that, or have you any plans as to how could you perhaps move this forward a little bit and continue your involvement in, let's say, saving our seas?
Well, we're going to we're going to try and replace some of the light bulbs in the school. So, because they're not, some of them, we've replaced a few already, but some of them aren't very energy efficient. So that's what we're planning to do, hopefully.
Yeah, because I think it's a great idea. It's fantastic to get involved, but I think, as you leave the project behind, to keep going with it, because I think this is really a really important topic as well. So well done. Okay, thank you, girls. Well done.